A girl and her boyfriend are accused of killing her father.
Aaron Guerrero and Sierra Halseth
killing one of their dads before going on the run.
joking about murder.
Kissing, holding hands, butterflies in your stomach. Is there anything more exciting than your first love? Not many people know how far some will go if anyone threatens to keep them apart. On April 9th, 2021, Peggy Newman found out the hard way. After several days of repeated calls and no contact, a frantic mother reached out to Peggy requesting her to check in on her son. No one had heard from him in days and she was worried. She wasn't the only one. When Peggy got to her friend's front door, she noticed a set of keys still dangling from the deadbolt lock, causing her to rethink entering the house alone. Her gut feeling was correct, as the body of Daniel Halseth would later be found on fire in the home's garage. Who was Daniel Halseth? Why would anyone want him dead? And what did these teen lovebirds have to do with this horrific crime? Daniel was born in Estacada, Oregon on January 28, 1976. During his college years in Salem, Oregon, he met Elizabeth Schwarrick. The two got married and had 3 children together, Dana, Jordan, and Sierra. Daniel found work in Las Vegas and the young family moved to sunny Nevada. It was there that Elizabeth shocked everyone by deciding to go into politics. She spent much less time at home with the family and more time on the political trail, leaving Daniel as the primary caregiver for the kids. In 2010, at the age of 27, Elizabeth won the state Senate seat, becoming the youngest female to be elected to the Nevada legislature. She built her campaign on wholesomeness, morality, and family values, which was ironic based on the kind of shady things that she was doing behind closed doors. In 2009, while Daniel was holding down the fort at home with his 9-to-5 job, doing door-to-door campaigns for his wife's election, and taking care of 3 kids under the age of 10, Elizabeth started having an affair on the campaign trail with a man named Tiger Helgelien, a real estate salesman who lived in Alaska. Daniel knew Tiger. He had built him a website the past summer and was even helping Tiger raise funds for his own political campaign. With Elizabeth back home, Daniel noticed she was always on her phone texting Tiger. The final straw was when the Mining Association of Nevada tweeted a picture of Tiger and Elizabeth together on a private trip to Elko. Daniel finally confronted Elizabeth over her relationship with Tiger on October 16, and an argument broke out. They later decided to go for counselling at their church that week. But 5 days later, when Daniel returned from the church counselling session with Elizabeth, he was shocked to see police outside their home alongside Tiger and Elizabeth's mother, Candy Schwarrick. Turns out that the night before, Elizabeth had called her mother and told her about their marital problems and the fight they had. The very next morning, Candy hopped on a flight to Las Vegas and called Tiger to pick her up from the airport. Together, the two came to Halseth's home. She was terrified that Daniel would do something terrible to Elizabeth, so when she knocked on the door and got no response, Candy called the police. The police asked Elizabeth about the fight, and she told them that Daniel had put his hands on her hips and demanded she sleep with him. He had also said that if she didn't submit to him, he would destroy her. Daniel claimed he had not meant any of those things and they had been said in the heat of the moment, but he was arrested and charged with indecent exposure. Shortly after this, Daniel filed for divorce, and a year later he pled guilty and was sentenced to 6 months probation as well as anger management classes. The separation was a messy one, ending in a bitter custody battle. Daniel, who had been the children's primary caregiver, should have been the obvious choice. But Elizabeth used Daniel's arrest to cast doubt on his ability to be a good parent, and she gained custody of all 3 kids. However, it wasn't all rainbows and butterflies for Elizabeth. She was forced to resign from her state Senate seat. Before the ink on the divorce papers could dry, Elizabeth scooped up the 3 kids and moved to Alaska to live with Tiger. It was a move that made Daniel very unhappy, but he was determined to maintain a relationship with his kids. Every couple of weeks, he packed up a bag and took the almost 4-hour flight to see them. His YouTube channel is full of their many adventures together. Sometime in 2012, Daniel gave love a second chance and married a woman named Donna. Shortly after, Elizabeth and the children moved back to Nevada. Daniel was very excited to get more time with his kids. His youngest child, 16-year-old Sierra, loved sneaking back home to hang out with her father. 7 years later, Daniel and Donna divorced, but the two remained good friends and still maintained joint bank accounts to pay off shared expenses. On April 6, 2021, Donna was going about her day when she started receiving text alerts about money being withdrawn from two of the joint accounts. That was unlike Daniel, but when she texted him, she got no response. Soon after, she got an alert that the withdrawals were flagged as fraudulent. Donna was alarmed and called Daniel's mother, Daniel Halseth, hoping she had heard from Daniel. But all of Christine's calls and texts went unanswered as well. She decided to text her granddaughter Sierra, asking her if she could get in touch with her dad. Sierra assured her grandmother that her father was okay. "His phone has been acting up," she wrote, "but he's okay. It should all be fixed by tomorrow night, no worries." But the next day, there was still no word from Daniel. Donna knew Daniel used his laptop a lot and was active on social media, so she texted Sierra to ask her dad to make a post on Facebook showing he was okay. Christine also texted Sierra to give Daniel her phone to talk to him, but Sierra gave her yet another excuse that he was in the shower and couldn't talk. Christine called Donna and told her the latest update. This troubled Donna. She had just gotten an alert that $140 had been withdrawn from one of the shared accounts. Why would someone who everyone was looking for run out of the shower to hit the ATM without getting in touch with anyone who was looking for him? Christine texted Sierra again. "I really need to talk to your dad. I'm concerned about him." But this time, there was no response from Sierra. Had something happened to her son and granddaughter? Shortly before 10 a.m. on April 9, 2021, Christine got in touch with Daniel's friend, Peggy, and asked her to run by the house. She also called the police to ask for a welfare check to be done at Daniel's home.
Yeah, hi, I need a welfare check. I don't know if
On who are we doing a welfare check?
for my son. He's been missing for 2 days. His work's called, his family's called, I've called, his ex-wife's called, and there's nobody answering the phone, and there's nothing. Nobody can get a hold of him, and then his work called, and they can't get a hold of him, and it's really, he just doesn't act like this.
But the police told her to wait a full 48 hours before they could declare him missing. A couple of hours later, Peggy and a friend went to Daniel's house. As they opened the door, they were hit by a wall of smoke. The living room appeared to have been burned. They combed through the rooms, but there was no sign of Daniel or Sierra. When they entered the garage, the strong smell of lighter fluid overpowered them, but they noticed that Daniel's Nissan Altima was missing. In its place lay a body on fire.
911 emergency, Guerrero 16497. Do you need police, fire, or medical?
How's there a dead body on there? Oh my God, 84 down 4. 84 down 4.
Do you need police, fire, or medical?
There was a fire, and we went in to investigate. The fire must be a couple days old. But there's a dead body in the garage. We just found him with the homeowner that doesn't live here.
Okay, and you're in there right now?
Yes.
Investigators arrived at the quiet cul-de-sac of Dunphy Court. It was not the type of community where anything bad had happened. However, the burned remains in the garage said differently. The medical examiner identified the body as 45-year-old Daniel Halseth. He had been stabbed over 70 times. 42 were in the back, others on his shoulders, hands, wrists, and fingers. Many of the stab wounds were made long after he was dead. There were signs that an attempt had been made to dismember Daniel's body first before he had been placed in a sleeping bag and set on fire. Gasoline had also been poured throughout the house. Whoever started the fire wanted to burn everything down and destroy any evidence that was now left in plain sight for the police to sift through. 2 folding pocket knives in the kitchen sink, a circular saw on the table with extra blades still in their packaging, and a chainsaw in the living room, all covered in Daniel's blood. Police also found receipts for the items. They had all been purchased on April 7th from a nearby Winco supermarket and local Home Depot. Investigators were getting ready to go over there and look for witnesses when they were approached by a couple, Mr. and Mrs. Guerrero. The two were looking for their son, Aaron. He had run away from home on April 7th, and they thought he would be with the Halseths. According to his mum, Aaron had started dating Daniel's daughter Sierra in June of 2010. 6 months into the relationship, the teenagers began creating a plan to run away to Los Angeles together. Aaron was 17 at the time, while Sierra was just 15. When Daniel learned of their plans, he put a stop to it by forbidding them from seeing each other and having any more contact with each other. So the investigators weren't too surprised when they got to the stores and found footage of Aaron and Sierra shopping for the very items linked to Daniel's murder. There was also footage from ATMs showing Sierra had been the one hitting the machines with her father's debit cards. She had withdrawn a total of $1,340 from 3 bank accounts. They searched the area and hit gold when they found footage of a dark blue Nissan Altima with 2 people inside leaving the area on April 9, 2021. The car matched the description of Daniel's car to a T. In addition, the car had left just minutes after Sierra's grandmother had texted Sierra that she would be getting the police involved. There was more than enough evidence linking Sierra and Aaron to Daniel's murder, and a warrant was put out for their arrest. They only had to find them first. 4 days later, on April 13, 2021, transit officers arrested 2 teens who got on a light rail in the downtown area without purchasing tickets. It was Aaron and Sierra. Their luck was about to run out. A background check came up with information that the 2 were wanted in Las Vegas. The police were contacted, and both Sierra and Aaron were placed under arrest while their phones were taken into evidence. There wasn't anything fishy on Aaron's phone, but when they looked through Sierra's phone, they found the disturbing video of Aaron and Sierra laughing about committing a murder.
Welcome back to our YouTube channel. After murdering, day 3 after murdering somebody.
Whoa! Don't put that on the camera.
Investigators also tracked down Daniel's car and found a blood-stained rug in the trunk. Aaron and Sierra were extradited to Nevada and charged with murder. Aaron and Sierra faced 9 felony counts, including murder with a deadly weapon, conspiracy to commit murder, arson, robbery with a deadly weapon, and conspiracy to commit robbery, as well as 4 counts of fraudulent use of a credit card. Sierra Halseth was charged as an adult, even though she was just 16. According to Nevada state law, anyone 16 and older accused of murder is automatically charged as an adult. They pleaded guilty to all counts against them to avoid the death penalty.
Ms. Halseth, in accordance to the laws of the state of Nevada, you're going to be adjudicated guilty on count 1, conspiracy to commit murder. Count 2, first-degree murder with use of a deadly weapon. Count 3, first-degree arson. Count 4, fraudulent use of a credit or a debit card.
At the sentencing hearing, Aaron solemnly apologized to the Halseth family for ending Daniel's life.
I ask for forgiveness as I get sentenced today, and I hope it brings you a little peace.
On the other hand, Sierra was unapologetic for her actions. She stood up and read out a statement she had prepared. "My biological father has traumatized me," she said. "Trauma I still have to work through every day." According to Sierra, her father had physically and sexually abused her.
He locks me in place and starts pushing me and hitting me around.
He also pushed her to drink alcohol. It was a statement that shocked everyone and was intended to convince the judge that Daniel had it coming. Sierra's mother, Elizabeth, said that she believed her daughter and claimed that was why she wanted Sierra removed from Daniel's house. She also blamed the system for failing Sierra. Yet Sierra's own siblings and grandmother thought differently and called her out as a liar. Other family members told the judge they wished she had received the death penalty and were shocked by the total lack of remorse.
Where did the evil come that was bred into a soul that murders their own father?
You're in a tough spot because your son is the victim and the killer is your granddaughter. Can you talk about that?
She's not my granddaughter.
Aaron and Sierra were sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 22 years. They were also ordered to pay $5,000 in restitution. Sierra will be 38 years old by the time she is eligible for parole. Even though she pled guilty to the murder, many people still believe that Aaron forced Sierra to kill her father to prove her love. Unfortunately, we might never know who came up with the plan to end Daniel's life. On his online obituary, it says he is survived by 2 loving children. There is no mention of Sierra.